Welcome to the Indiana Dunes National and State Parks. The Indiana Dunes has so much to offer, which includes swimming, hiking, camping, paddling, bicycling, wandering, and more. We want to leave you with wonderful memories of your time here, so we put together some important safety tips, such as how to safely swim in our Great Lake, which is Lake Michigan, to tips on ticks. Visitors also have responsibilities to consider when exploring the Indiana Dunes. This video covers 9 important safety and responsibility topics, and you'll be glad you took the time to watch it. You can also stop by the Indiana Dunes Tourism Visitor Center to talk with staff and rangers to help plan a fun and safe trip.
Every year we get over 2 million visitors. Many of them are drawn here by the beauty and excitement of Lake Michigan. There's 15 miles of shoreline in the national park. Many of them are wild or unguarded beaches. We always recommend is that people swim in a life-guarded beach, either at the national park or the state park. There's really 2 things you need to understand about Lake Michigan. One is its bottom can be uneven, unexpected drop-offs, especially near sandbars. The other big danger are large waves. A lot of people look at those as really something fun to play in, but it's never safe to get in Lake Michigan if there's large breaking waves. Sometimes those waves literally rip through the sandbar, causing almost a river-like stream of water to rush out into the lake. What we have happen year after year is people fight against that, discover they're too weak. Even the strongest swimmer cannot fight against that.
We don't want anybody out there paddling without their life vest on, regardless of the level of your skill. Let somebody know that that's what you're going to be doing at approximately this time, or you can let some of the rangers at the visitor center know, hey, I'm going to be paddling this Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. So if someone calls the visitor center, hey, where's Mike Allen? It's 4 p.m. and we haven't seen him. We'll at least have an idea of where they should be.
A great time to visit the national park is during the winter when the shelf ice is covering Lake Michigan. You might think you're in the Arctic as you look at miles of ice. There can be small areas that have thin layers of ice that you can fall through into the water below. So enjoy that shelf ice from the safety of the beach.
Everyone needs to know this one for sure. This is poison ivy. So they say leaves of 3, leave them be. Right here where they come together is kind of reddish. So that's important to know. And also they have a white berry. It grows as a vine, a shrub, ground cover like this. But poison ivy, you gotta be careful with that.
When you get back home, you should always do a tick check. Ticks can be as small as a poppy seed. Using insect repellents, permethrin on your clothing, tucking your socks in are good ways to prevent mosquitoes and ticks from getting onto your skin. The good news is that most ticks don't even attach for several hours and can't pass any disease along for up to 24 hours. One of the most important rules is to stay on established trails. One of our big problems out in the dunes is people walking off of the trails, walking on top of marram grass and other delicate dune plants.
Right now, the park has one federally threatened plant called pitcher thistle, or Cirsium pitcheri, and the park is doing everything that we can to protect these plants. One of the biggest things that our visitors and park staff can do is just not to trample them.
Really pay attention to signs where they tell you not to go off trail so that we don't damage vulnerable habitat.
One of the threats to the pans is an invasive species. It's erosion. People are walking on the crest of the dunes, it's pushing sand down into the wetlands. I can remove invasive plant species. The park staff can do that, but it's very hard to remove grains of sand to re-expose that water table.
You can see that some of the formerly buried trees are now being re-exposed at the surface. It represents a new kind of hazard. The trees are still rigid, they have not decomposed as much, and so there is always a risk of someone running up here with bare feet and stepping on one of those limbs that are now coming to the surface. So this is typically what people think of when they talk about the ghost forest. This is where some of the hazard comes in, is because this is very soft and the trees are decomposing from the center outward, and so a tree that has undergone enough decomposition may create an open hole.
It's important to understand that everything here in the national park is protected. even down to the rocks on the beach. If every one of our visitors took something from this park, imagine how empty it would be. So beautiful flowers, small animals, even bugs, leave them here because this is their home, they're needed here, and we want everybody to be able to come out and enjoy them. You also have to be careful what you bring in. For years, we've been under a firewood advisory where we don't want you bringing in firewood into our park because you could also be bringing in something like the emerald ash borer, which is killing off the ash trees throughout the country. So it's important, don't add things to the park, don't leave an animal here that you captured in your backyard, because while you may think it's a wild animal, it might not belong in the habitat that you drop it off in. We welcome people to bring their pets. We do ask, though, for the safety of other park visitors and also really for the care of our national park that you keep your pets on a 6-foot leash so they can't chase the wildlife or harass other visitors.
The only poisonous snake that we have that I know of is the Massasauga rattler. It's on the Federal Endangered Species list, and I've never seen one. Most of the snakes that we see are non-venomous. The hognose snake is the scariest because what the hognose snake will do is it will raise up like a cobra, flatten out its neck and hiss and lunge at you, but it's non-venomous and it rarely bites, so it's just putting on a big show. You know, we're a little bit removed from nature, and so they come here, they're like, well, are there coyotes and things like that out here? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, well, are they gonna attack us? And we're like, no, they're not gonna attack you. They're out here and it's really neat if you get to see one. Same with the snakes. It's really neat if you get to see a snake. Just don't reach out and try to grab one. In the last 6-7 years or so, we've had wild turkey, and the wild turkey population is getting bigger and bigger. Out on the trail here, I've seen big toms on display. And that's one thing you do wanna watch out for. When the toms are up on display, don't approach them because they're ready to breed and that's their territory, and they're very aggressive at that time of year. They're not gonna kill you or anything, but you just wanna kind of keep your distance so they don't get upset and try to go after you.
Other visitor responsibilities, I would say enjoying the park and sharing that information, sharing that love, because the more support the park has, the more people come to visit and support us.
Go to IndianaDunes.com to plan your trip.
Don't forget to subscribe. We always have something new happening in the Indiana Dunes area, and we'd love to tell you all about it.